Alkali Lake here, cosplaying as Elise the Enlightened. I was so excited for the release of Saviors of Uldum, and when I saw that Elise the Trailblazer was getting a glow up, I couldn't wait to create her new look. I'm here to bring you some of my favorite cards from the new expansion and the lore behind them. Today we're going to talk about Dinotamer Brann, Reno the Relicologist, Siamat, Zephrys, King Phaoris, and of course, Elise the Enlightened. And just a reminder, this video is not about card mechanics, but just a brief look at the lore behind these adventurous Hearthstone characters and their WoW background. If you want to learn more about these characters, check out the links in the description for more resources. Let's get to it, shall we? To start off, let's talk about Dinotamer Brann. I just had to start off with this card because, well, Bran riding a dinosaur is one of the best things ever. In Hearthstone, Dinotamer Brann is a 7-mana 2/4 that summons the legendary King Crush. This is a dynamite card, pun intended, but he relates to Uldum lore and is very relevant in this expansion because he's one of the founding members of the League of Explorers and was on a search for the rumored land of Uldum. Uldum was finally discovered after the Cataclysm when its Titan cloaking device was damaged. You can read more about Bran and his travels in Bran's journal, and he can be found as an NPC with Harrison Jones in Harrison Jones and the Temple of Uldum. Next up, we have Reno Jackson. Reno is different from a lot of other characters we'll talk about today because his Hearthstone lore is considered non-canon, but I still find it quite interesting. In Hearthstone, Reno is a 6-mana 4/6 legendary that deals 10 damage split amongst all enemy minions via Reno and his Gatling Wand. Wait, Reno with a Gatling Wand. Anyone else confused? Well, Ben Thompson, Hearthstone creative director, says on Reddit when referencing the class role decision behind Reno carrying the Gatling Wand that he seemed to take to the using of magic in this form like a duck to water. After all, his flavor text on the card does say, all his life, Reno was only a Gatling Wand away from becoming the greatest and most terrifying mage who ever existed. Latest news? Well, Reno is currently on probation from the League of Explorers for occasionally getting confused about the difference of being a treasure hunter and an archaeologist. Now on to one of the cards I was most excited for in the Saviors of Uldum expansion. In Hearthstone, Siamat is a 7-mana 6/6 legendary that grants you 2 options in its battle cry. Options are Rush, Taunt, Divine Shield, or Wind Fury. In WoW lore, Siamat is the final boss in the lost city of the Tolvir from WoW Cataclysm. To kill Siamat in the game, there are 2 phases you must overcome to defeat him as a boss. My theory is that this is why there are 2 phases to his battle cry in Hearthstone. Now on to Zephyrus, a card seen only in Highlander style decks in Hearthstone. Zephyrus is a 2-mana 3/2 that gives you the perfect card, or so it seems. Zephrys is another card unique to Hearthstone, yet still has character development with influences from Uldum. In Hearthstone, Zephrys is a genie. Therefore, the connection with wishing for the perfect card. Now, how does Zephrys relate to Uldum in this expansion? In Uldum, genies are the creation of Al-Akir, who is the final boss in the Throne of the Four Winds in WoW Cataclysm. And now on to another powerful card, King Phaoris. In Hearthstone, King Phaoris is a whopping 10-mana 5/5 that summons a random minion for each spell in your hand equal to the value of the mana of the spell cards. Well, In Uldum, King Phaoris is the king of cats. He's the leader of the Ramkahan tribe of Tolvir. He also welcomes adventurers who intend to aid the Ramkahan against the Neferset Tolvir, who have allied with the mighty Deathwing and old god Al-Akir. It only makes sense that as a leader of a race long lived since the age of the Titans, that he would be able to summon a mighty army on command. And lastly, Elise, me. Elise is a 5-mana, 5/5 Druid legendary card that has the power to duplicate your hand if your deck contains no duplicates. The interesting thing about this card is that you would normally think it would be ran in a Highlander deck, meaning there can only be one of each card. However, Elise decks often run multiples of cards, utilizing the tactic of heavy card draw in a game to thin your deck down to singletons. Seeing that this path is quite different from other Highlander decks, one can draw the conclusion that this deck style can be related to her card flavor, which states, "From cartographer to combatant, Elise has taken the road less traveled because no one else could find it on a map." Does this mean she can do what other decks cannot typically do within the Highlander playstyle? It certainly seems so. I also love that her previous card, Elise the Trailblazer, from The Journey to Ungorosat reads, "Reno taught her that blazing her own trail is a lot more fun than following someone else's map." After analyzing these hidden clues by the Hearthstone team, I really have begun to feel that this is one of the more clever themed cards in the game. Well, those were quite the cards, but there's a whole lot more to the Saviors of Uldum expansion. Some things you might want to look for are the Tolvir. There are lots of cards with Tolvir in the name, and not just from this expansion. If you see cards with this in the name, the cards are referencing the cats. Civilization that inhabits the lost land of Uldum. Also look for mummies and the reborn mechanic. These are most likely used in this expansion due to the mummies in the Uldum zone of Warcraft and the fact that when Deathwing struck a deal with the Neferset tribe, they were offered eternal life. I hope this video inspires you to read more into not just the numbers on the cards. I personally love all the lore behind each and every expansion and enjoy finding all the hidden clues. Don't forget to check out the description in the video for all my resources or join me on my Twitch stream where we can chat live about the cards. Hit subscribe if you like this kind of content and want to see more, and follow me on Twitch.